Uh, they released a video of Taylor Frankie beating up Dakota from 2023. Yeah, you're the second one that said that. Let me search it up right now.
Details are now coming out about the situation between Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota, and trigger warning, it has to do with domestic violence. Apparently this all happened 3 weeks ago, and Taylor Frankie Paul's story apparently is different than Dakota's, but let's get into Dakota's story. Allegedly, Taylor choked Dakota with his necklace and grabbed his throat and face, and this happened with their son Ever in the room. Sources tell TMZ Dakota even called police that night, but the new Bachelorette star convinced him to change his story and tell cops all was good. She apologized and even returned to Dakota's home the following night. However, that went south too. Taylor allegedly...
Wait, she's a TikToker and she started the mom talk trend. I never heard of her, dude.
Scratched his neck during a second night of fighting and chucked his phone against a wall. We're told a friend of Dakota's saw his neck the next day and called police. Responding officers interviewed him, and we're told they also saw proof of his injuries. As far as Taylor's version, sources with direct knowledge say Dakota was the primary aggressor during a recent car ride with Taylor, but other production sources have negated that allegation, saying she was physically abusive to him and their son. As we know, production has paused on the show because of them, and TMZ was told that they've been ordered to get a psych evaluation, but sources close to Dakota say no such test has been ordered for him. TMZ goes on to say that producers want to keep rolling, to no surprise at all, but it's Taylor's co-stars that actually don't want to. For one, I'm happy to hear that, because if they're going to treat Demi a certain way for
yeah, they got popular on TikTok and got a show, Mormon Wives. Got it. On Hulu.
Allegations, she said, they definitely should be treating Taylor the same way, because domestic violence is not a joke. I said this in my last video that Taylor seemed to have a good head on her shoulder, and I know a lot of people are like, what do you even mean? I mean in the sense of she has really good advice for other people. It's sad that she can't take it for herself, but if this is true, I don't even know where she would go from here, because she needs help. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, man, after all this, after that being said, people are still like Team Taylor, bro. Like, how the fuck do y'all see an abusive woman and are like, oh my gosh, yeah, Team fucking Taylor, dude? What the fuck? But if it was a man, if it was vice versa, dude, y'all wouldn't like that shit.
Attention, Mormons. Somebody is lying, and we are trying to find out who. So if you have watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and a lot of people are, or if you're about to watch The Bachelorette, we have some news. The Bachelorette is Taylor from the show Secret Lives.
I'm going to say Taylor was on Good Morning America yesterday. She said she didn't know what they dropped or why they dropped it right before her big moment. Supposedly they paused filming of a new season once this broke. Yeah, that's what the girl said.
Of Mormon Wives. And this is what's going on. We can tell you that Taylor has been ordered by the Department of Children and Family Services to undergo a psych evaluation because of allegations of abuse. And this is something we know, but who caused the abuse is the big issue. So let me explain. Taylor has a 2-year-old child with Dakota. And this is Taylor's version. Taylor says that Dakota has been abusive to her. And 3 weeks ago, it came to a head in Dakota's car when they got into a fight and a drink spilled on the car seat and on Dakota. Taylor's people say Dakota then got physically violent with Taylor, but Dakota is the one who called the police.
So they're both toxic, it seems like.
People say he did it to cover himself. It was a lie, and he claimed, which we know he did, that Taylor is the one who attacked him. And so Dakota, meanwhile, had been calling the Department of Children's Services many times, according to Taylor, alleging she was abusing their 2-year-old son.
Damn.
And eventually they had an open investigation, and the Department of Children and Family Services then ordered both Dakota and Taylor to take a psychological evaluation, to undergo an evaluation to see if they were fit parents. So that is Taylor's story. And the reason it's important is because we found out that the show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, has been put on hold. The question, why? So according to Taylor's people, the reason is after this fight in the car, Dakota went MIA for 3 weeks. He was an important part of the show, so producers decided to put the show on ice until Dakota resurfaced.
Yeah, they shouldn't have paused it, bro. That's good entertainment, bro. Fuck, just film herself and then say, you know what, he ran away or some shit.
Which apparently he has, and they're saying everything's kumbaya and that they will be shooting soon again. Okay, that is Taylor's version. Dakota has a radically different version of this story. Number one, we are told from Dakota's people that this car incident happened more than a year ago. It had nothing to do with anything. The reason that everything kind of just dissolved into chaos is because about 3 weeks ago, they got into a fight. And according to Dakota's people, Taylor choked him and then took his necklace off and then grabbed his phone and threw the phone against the wall and then began choking him. The next day, they were together again for some reason, and she got violent again with him, grabbed his neck, and the following day, one of Dakota's friends saw his neck had injuries, and that friend called police, and then they called, and then Taylor was basically put in the hot seat because of this. But it was all because allegedly of...
For those that watch these or this couple, like I don't watch them at all. This is the first time I'm finding out about this situation. Who do y'all believe? Like, y'all think they're both wrong? Y'all think Dakota's, telling the truth? Y'all think Taylor's telling the truth? What's Gucci? They're so bad for each other. Yeah, it seems that way right now.
Violence at the hands of Taylor. And so now the question, why was this show put on ice? Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Well, what we are told from cast members is they were concerned about Taylor's role in this and the abuse that had been alleged. And there was also abuse that Dakota is alleging that Taylor did something to their kid. And so the wives, we're told, refused to keep filming, while this was kind of a hot issue and the police were investigating. So radically different stories. And what is really interesting is ABC, which carries both Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu and The Bachelorette. ABC hired a crisis PR manager who is, saying, yeah, everything is going to come back, and The Bachelorette is basically on schedule to premiere. It's already in the can. Taylor was on the pre-show on ABC with Jesse Palmer saying, oh, the show's going to be on the air, and no mention of any of this stuff. But it seems like ABC is really nervous. But one of these people is lying. You decide who.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, outsider looking in, this just seems like a toxic ass couple, bro.
Showing footage of Taylor, Frankie Paul, and Dakota's fight that led to her 2023 arrest. And I'm gonna be honest, if there's one thing that forces ABC to pull The Bachelorette, this might be it, guys, because this is a very hard watch. I do want to give a trigger warning before playing it for you guys.
Okay.
But you will see.
So they are gonna show it. All right, let's see what's cracking. Let's see. Hopefully it's not too graphic or whatever, but
that her daughter is in the room when she is attacking Dakota.
Yeah, look at you. Look. Yeah, look. This is called physical abuse.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn, got him in a
Yeah.
chokehold.
See, Taylor, this is all you do. It's the only thing you know how to do. Holy shit.
I don't give a f.
Let me go. Stop. Dude, leave me alone.
Oh!
My gosh.
Damn! What? Listen, man. Your daughter's in the same room. This is what I don't get, bro. When people... fuck. I don't get it. How y'all could be so mad doing this in front of your kids, bro. In front of your babies. At least go to the fucking room, dude.
Your daughter is right here.
Not the TV.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
Oh, she hit the fucking kid. She hit the fucking kid. Yeah, man. Algo tiene la fucking Taylor, dude.
Dakota tell her your daughter is sitting right here, but then she goes on to throw 2 more stools at him. And then you hear her child start crying. Hearing her daughter cry is so heartbreaking. The police report says the 5-year-old girl was hit and later had a goose egg on her head. Police arrived on the scene that night after a neighbor called to complain about the noise, and in the video you hear the officer trying to separate them. During the fight, Taylor yells, "You threw me," a few times, and she later claims to police Dakota had thrown her to the ground prior to what was seen in the video. And a rep for Taylor is saying it is sad to see the latest installment of Dakota's never-ending, desperate attention-seeking, destructive campaign to harm Taylor without any regard for the consequences for their child. Releasing an old and selectively edited video of their son's birthday is a reprehensible attempt to distract from his own behavior. The rep added, "Thankfully, the public has seen this act before and knows who he is, and sadly, many will recognize this pattern of manipulation, both in his actions on the show and from their own experiences."
Yeah, man. To me, bro, she looks like she's a problem. I don't know very much about them once again, but to me, after seeing this, it looks like she's a problem, of course. But you never know what he did before, he started recording. Because I know how fucking men are. But I don't know. I'm just saying this does not make her look good, obviously. Can you please inform yourself on reactive abuse? Okay, let me search that up.
Have you ever snapped at someone after they pushed you to your breaking point only for them to turn it around on you? It's called reactive abuse. And it happens when somebody who's been repeatedly manipulated, provoked, mistreated, poked at, finally reacts in a way that's very out of character for them. But then the actual abuser uses your reaction to make you look like you've been the problem the entire time. They'll say things like, "See, you're the crazy one. You're the abusive one here." And it's all a tactic for them to shift blame and avoid accountability for their behavior. But let's be clear, your reaction does not make you the abusive one. It's a very human response to being emotionally overwhelmed or being pushed past your limits, because you cannot be healthy in an unhealthy environment. This is also one of the most misunderstood dynamics in toxic relationships. And it leaves a lot of victims feeling really guilty or ashamed for how they responded.
So do we know that, now I understand what you guys are saying. So do we know, Dakota has cheated and lied to her multiple times. Got it. I was just going to ask, do you know if Dakota has been like a fucking bitch to her? This happens in a lot of relationships, which is why this was discovered. I had a friend who would do this to me. I didn't know they had a word for it. Yeah, you're telling me, dude. I've heard this before, but I never knew it was called reactive abuse. Just like the term rage bait. We've all rage baited in our life, but it just came about. Like that word. At least, the past 2 years, it just came out. Shit, I've been rage baited my whole life. I didn't know we had a fucking word for it till now, bro.
El pollo is loco.